Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio today a guest. She is Florence Olasumbo.
Yes, sir.
Oyeyemi.
Yes, sir.
Florence Olasumbo Oyeyemi is immediate past Commissioner for Finance and Planning.
Yes, sir.
Kwara State.
Yes, sir.
And she's a delegate to Abuja. Terra Leadership Foundation is organizing a North Central Regional or North Central Zonal dialogue to address the ongoing challenges in Nigeria and the way forward. We brought people from Kwara and Kogi and Nasarawa and Niger and Benue and Plateau who are here and are working on how will Nigeria get better. And then Florence is one of such. We're happy to have you in Abuja.
Thank you, sir.
In Terra.
Thank you,
and
sir.
For this dialogue.
Thank you, sir.
So Florence, during the interaction at the dialogue, you made quite some good intervention as to what the problems are and the way forward. What are your fears about Nigeria and what are your concerns at this point in time?
All right, thank you very much, Reverend Father George Ehusani. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be on the Reflections program. I didn't see this coming, but thank God I am here, and thank God that there is an opportunity for my voice to be heard regarding certain issues as it concerns Nigeria and as it concerns the state of the nation at present. There's no gainsaying, or it's not even far-fetched for us to know that there is a problem in the country as we stand. And there's several crises going on left to right, from kidnapping to banditry to killings to all sorts.
Criminality.
All kinds, and all of those things are centered around the youths most often. Then we see that the governments are not given the right reaction. The reaction, I would not say right, the reaction that the people want to see. The people, the youths are not getting this reaction. The people are not getting this reaction that they expect from the government, which is in turn making the situation more volatile. So you see the volatility keeps increasing by the day and after things happening. So I'm privileged to have been selected as a delegate in attending the North Central Stakeholders Dialogue Forum, and it's been a wonderful session so far. I attended the one in Ilorin representing the state, one of the 30 delegates selected at the state level, and it was a fruitful discussion, having people from all spans and all areas of life being part of this discussion and this engagement session. We have people from the private and the public sector. We have MAC band being represented. We have the people with disability also represented. So it's been it was a fruitful discussion because we had points from every angle about the situation of things. We also have media. We had medias represented in
So it was grassroots.
It was grassroots enabled. It had grassroots representation. We had people from respective local government also represented in this dialogue, despite the fact that we were 30. Then after that, there was a communique that came out of that, which led to us having a general zonal session. That's the North Central Regions dialogue session, which is beautiful, which has been wonderful because the plenary discussion was excellent. As I said yesterday, it was almost like a seminar on its own. It was like a workshop for us to have listened to past political leaders, past government leaders,
and academics,
past academicians, past people that have been in media, that were media practitioners for years, and they are still practicing. You know, it was a beautiful session for me, listening to them first time, being there, and they've done it, and here they are. And you know, it was also like an eye opener for us to know. So one thing that we said, that we know that there is a problem in Nigeria, and my fear is Nigeria not collapsing. The question you asked,
yes.
My fear is we ensuring that Nigeria does not collapse.
How do we ensure?
How do we ensure this? My fear is reducing the level of brain drain that we have in the country. Everybody saying we want to jackpot. Everybody saying we want to jackpot. Even sometimes I receive messages on my phone. I'm like, oops, I've not started planning my Canada trip. Oh, when should I start? When should I not start?
Japa means to go out.
To go out of the country. You know, people are saying this. If you open your social media, that's the first thing you would see, how bad the situation of the country is. That will still have this issue. Apart from those that want to japa, we also have people that want to have the Yoruba state, the Yoruba country, the Igbo country, the North country. You know, all of these things are happening, and we're saying, is there hope? Is there hope for the country? Is there hope for the children, for the youth? Yes. Then I now move to, is there hope for our children? Or is there hope for our unborn children? Are we celebrating the fact that it is better to be a second-class citizen in another man's land as being the way out of all the problems?
Meaning, is that the best we can achieve?
Is that the
to
best
go and be second-class citizen in another person's place? Is that the best?
Is that the best we can achieve? Yeah. So there's so much confusion and so much random thoughts going in the head of youth right now, not believing in the country Nigeria, not being patriotic enough. And I would not want to say they are not. Maybe they've done their best,
and they are not just
succeeding, and they feel that, oh, we've done our best, we've believed in Nigeria for so long, but see where it has gotten us. You know, it's so terrible as such, and you keep wondering what's the way forward.
You know what you are saying now. In one of the gatherings we have had at Terra within the last 1 month, really.
Yes, sir.
Somebody came and said, Father George, I have been following you for over 30 years. Your writings in the Guardian, your writings in newspapers, your TV appearances, but nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening.
With the idea that it's a hopeless situation. We have been doing this for more than 30 years, nothing is happening. It's a hopeless situation. And I said, no, as long as we're alive. Once there's life, there's hope. And also that when it is midnight, dawn is near. That's my position. Right now, it's like midnight in Nigeria. And when it is midnight, the night is dark, pitch darkness. You can hardly see the stars. But that means dawn.
Dawn.
Is coming. So, unfortunately, there are some of us that have too much at stake in Nigeria to japa.
Yes, sir.
There are the people who can japa, who can, you know, whose best what do I call it, objective or whatever is to leave the country. There are a lot of people who don't have much stake. For me, every day I wake up and I go to bed is, how can this country get better? I studied in the US 32 years ago. And I had options to remain there, like others have options to remain there. But I thought that, no,
this is where
I belong. This is where I belong. And I have been working here since then. It is true that I may not live to see the result of my work, unfortunately. However, I wouldn't want our children and children's children to grow up in this kind of country. That's why until my last day, I will continue to
speak for a better Nigeria.
Yes, speak for a better Nigeria, organize things with that, like what we are doing towards a better Nigeria. Now, you are a professional. I mean, you beyond being an industrial chemist professional, you are also you have become a finance professional.
Yes, sir.
I mean, actually, we need the two. We need a combination of industrialization.
Yes, sir.
And finance to build Nigeria,
system,
to build society. On a more positive side, after lamenting what is happening with Nigeria and our fears, what do you think are the opportunities, even in our present circumstances? What are the opportunities? As you know, the Chinese translate the word crisis into dangerous opportunity. So the crisis, the major crisis we are in today, are there opportunities in it for the young people and for the future? And what could such opportunities be?
Thank you so much for your question, sir. Yes, I would say there are opportunities. There are diverse opportunities, because we've seen a lot of youth who have made it out of Nigeria, living in Nigeria, and they're excelling at what they do. We've even had some of our celebrity stars who had started their musical careers abroad, but they were not fortunate to make it. They were not fortunate to be blown, as the youth saying will go. They did not blow where they were. But so when they came back home, and home was where they got their shining star.
Bloom where you are planted, yes.
So that's an avenue for it. And these people they are from diverse sector. So the opportunities are diverse. Yesterday we spoke about peer learning, peer review, comparing our states to another state.
Yes.
Before I move there, I would like to say something about our resilient nature as Nigerians.
Okay.
We are not resilient by chance. We are resilient because of our multicultural diversity.
It's part of what built the resilience.
It's part of what built the resilience. So I can go to Kano tomorrow, even if I cannot speak Hausa, I know that I can relate because I'm a fellow Nigerian. Yes. And I'll go there and I'll thrive and I'll survive. You have several people before all of the crisis, before the terrorism crisis started, that were living and making ends meet outside the shores, thriving and doing so well before the terrorism started, and some of them had to relocate. Some are still there, still running mighty businesses there, and contributing to the economy of those states, excessively to the economy of those things. Now, because there are diverse opportunities, it is left for us as individuals first, as a person first, as a family person, to inculcate the core values that would let us see the brighter side of every situation. I'll always say that opportunities will not come to you when you're not ready, because even if it comes to you, you would not identify it, nonetheless do anything with it. And it is important for our youth, for our women, for everybody representing people in every mountain they belong to. My pastor would say something. They said, well, he read that there are 7 mountains of influence in the world today. And very certain we all belong to one or more of this mountain. One of them, and this mountain rises through family unit, education, arts and media, religion, and all of that. We are all representing ourselves on this mountain. How well do we use this mountain to influence the society positively? We have many things we complain about that we are the major contributory factor to some of the things we go through. Not like I'm saying that our leaders cannot do better. We have some leaders who are representing states, who are state governors, doing marvelously well. One of them is the governor of Kwara State, doing exceedingly well. The governor of Sanwo-Olu of Lagos too is trying his best to communicate his intentions, to push out his intentions and all of this. And people are not getting it because they are tired. They are not seeing it.
They are tired. What do you mean that they are tired?
They are tired. They don't even see the brighter side of information.
Okay, because
so when media
there's so much negativity.
There's so much in the atmosphere
that people are not even able to listen to the few positive things that are happening.
Exactly. So we see that we tend to focus our attention on negativities. So even when we see positive, we don't give it the right reaction that it deserves. But that being said, a lot of things that is dependent on us: self-development, peer review. In our home corner, let us see what is working well in another state. That is some of the comments that was made during the dialogue session. Let us see what is working in Kogi and see how to infuse it in Kwara. Let us see what is working in Kwara. Let's see how to infuse it in Nasarawa. Let us see the sort of partnerships we can work with. We have a program that we're developing around business clusters. Chief Audu Ogbe said yesterday, he emphasized on economy. Once the economy is good, once the economy is booming, people will have less time for all this negativity.
But you see, as long as the security situation is so tenuous, as long as you cannot leave Ilorin and take your car and enjoy a ride to Abuja and feel safe, now, how will economy boom? So, it's the first thing to deal with, not security. Because today, farmers are not able to go to farm in many parts of the country. People are not able to carry on their legitimate business in different parts of the country. The country is collapsing because of insecurity. Most people are still able to do their little bit to put food on the table if they are able to carry on their legitimate insecurity and safety. That is the real issue. And while all that is happening, the government at the center seems to be deaf and dumb. How do we address this? Because you see, okay, economy. If we had focused on this economy and done like what Chief Audu was saying 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe we won't be here now. But where we are now is almost a situation of war. It's the moral equivalence of war. How do we then boost the economy under the present situation?
Under the present. Thank you very much, sir. So my comments to that will be this. We have all of this insecurity going on left, right, and center, and people are not sure to go about their means of livelihood activity as they would because of the level of insecurity we have in the state. One thing I would like to I would like to say to the federal government, because that's where all the armed forces are. They are under the government. And part of the comments we made is decentralizing some of those military forces or armed forces so that they can be well coordinated by state officials. It's not going to be an easy ball game.
So
but
once again, the issue of devolution of powers and
powers,
state police.
State policing.
Federal government can keep the army,
they
but
keep state policing. Now, when we look at it, you say that some of these people, when the governor of a state is solely responsible for the security of the state, automatically the governor will have to devolve the power down to the local government, down to the ward levels, and they will be responsible for their own security. That being said, in Kwara now, when they did the constabularies, Kwara was the highest state that actually absorbed a lot of constabularies who are working as police officials in different local government, and they are doing well. And even the TIC, those that are TIC chairmen, who are the leaders of the local government, they are responsible for monitoring these people, and it is working well gradually for us. So another thing, we have several policies on security situations. We have several policies developed. We have several consultations, communique. How well have we practicalized these resolutions? How well have we put systems and structures in place to monitor these activities with the right monitoring and evaluation report that is channeled towards the positive outputs? How well are we designing it?
Talking about how well have we done this, how can we do these things well when in our strategies for recruiting persons to positions or even promoting people? Before we came to the studio, I told you how we have a practice in this country, unfortunately, of promoting mediocrity, whereby we call it federal character or whatever we call it, whereby you have people who start, let's say, on level 8 in a government ministry or parastatal, and by the time it gets to promotion to director, deputy director, especially director, it's like, okay, she's from which local government? She's from which state? Oh, they already have 2 directors. No, you can't have another director from your. So you mean even if this person is tops with regards to his or her performance in the last 20-25 years in the civil service, he cannot become director because there is somebody already from his state or his local government that is already a director. What if he's the most qualified to become director? How did we end up with a situation where it is by representation of your state or your local government that you hold certain sensitive positions rather than by capacity? They say for a country, what is important is opportunity, equal opportunities, but not equal outcome, because human beings are gifted differently. So if you now use equality of opportunities at every level, would you like to be treated by a doctor who became a doctor by quota system? How, if for the future Nigeria you're talking about, how do we get out of this?
Okay, so thank you, sir. So speaking about that, well, oftentimes we always forget something in our administration of responsibility. We talk about efficiency and effectiveness. What is efficiency? How well delivered the program went? What is effectiveness? What sort of results? What impact has it produced? And in the book I'm reading now, they defined effectiveness as a production, that's the output, being equivalent to production capacity.
Yes.
So that means we must always put the right
pegs in the right
hole. So that's just it. We need to be truthful with ourselves if we want things to go on well. But you know, we have fairness, we have justice, and we have equality. Equity, yes. Equity. So when you look at equity, in the saying of we being equitable in our dealings, you have the quota system, so that it's not going to be Yoruba people that are in all the position because they are well read. So that it will not be these people because we don't want them to feel marginalized. That is the meaning of equity or equitability, in the sense of those that are acting that way. Leaving the path of fairness and justice. So they are fulfilling one part, not considering the other. I would say, if you're recommending someone for a job, I've worked as an HR manager before, and I have people come to me, please help me get my sister a job. Please get a job for my brother, help me fix my brother. And I tell the person, please, you can submit your CV, but know fully well that
it will go through the process.
It will go through the process, and it is up to you to pass or fail. If you're unable to prove to the panel that you're desirable of the position or you're fit for the position, there is no way I can do that for you. It is more like you want me to bring down the system of the institution. We need to be saying these things as critical as they are. Now, people talk about nepotism. Nepotism exists in all of our homes as individuals, and we're not doing anything. We're celebrating it in our homes. And when it comes to government, it becomes an issue. Do not forget that people were individuals before they attained position to start behaving in a certain way. So they will only do what they've been used to as being the normal when they even get to. So the position will just blow or reinforce whatever character they had or they've been behaving before. That is why I talk about core values cannot be overemphasized.
The behaviors we are seeing at government levels today are behaviors that were nurtured and honed at home. Let's say, talking about nepotism, that people have in their homes.
Yes, miss.
The children of their cousins, the children of their brothers, and treat them less than they treat their own children of the same age.
Yes.
That's already a very bad start.
Yes.
So it won't be surprising tomorrow
when such person gets into power,
government
how would you
and treats people from his tribe.
Yes.
Because this is something that has always bothered me, that the child of your brother, the child of your sister is living with you, and you treat that child of the same age with your own child so differently that the child is able to notice. I mean, how? And then, like you said, tomorrow you start complaining about the politicians.
About the politicians.
Yes. Because that's where it starts.
Yes, that's where it starts, at home. We'll talk about the family unit in every point of discussion, and what sort of core values have you grown with? What sort of things have you adapted to as normal, despite being abnormal? Before
we finish this, let me ask you, what do you have to tell fellow young women about the way nannies are treated in Nigeria? Because this thing we have just said about,
it's part of it.
Yeah, what do you have to say to women about the treatment of nannies? Because what we see in this society is deplorable. You have a 9-year-old, let's say 12. You have a 12-year-old child yourself, and you have a 12-year-old child of another woman who is a nanny in your house, and you treat that girl almost like a slave. What do you have to tell women?
So for women, regarding this issue, it's an issue that is less discussed.
It's not sufficiently discussed.
It is not sufficiently discussed, and it is terrible. Yes. When you know that you're treating this child was just, it was situation.
The unfortunate
poverty circumstance that brought the child into that circle of her working for you as a nanny. And if someone is responsible for you, taking care of your children, taking care of your home, that you should have been responsible for, the best thing is whatever time you know that you were supposed to have been paid, whatever amount you think you're supposed to have been paid, if you are invested time into the things the girl or the boy is doing, is enough for you to calculate what sort of attention and what sort of care that person deserves. because your children are watching you treat the child that certain way,
and learning.
And they will learn. They see that you are inflicting poison. You are inflicting pain onto that child. And while you are inflicting pain onto that child that is not yours, you are also inflicting poison into your child that is watching. Yes. Because your child will grow to see it as a norm. As
normal, and will practice it.
And will practice it. And not with just nannies in our own context. With everybody that does not measure up to our own standard of living.
Including the way that child, if he's a boy, will treat a wife tomorrow.
A wife tomorrow. Or you see someone that is in need in town, or you see someone that is less of a status to you, you will treat that person because that is such a demeaning attitude that you've created
Florence,
in the light of the
I think we will need to do a second session on this.
Thank you so much.
I would like to bring this session to an end. I have been speaking with Florence Oyeyemi, immediate past commissioner for finance and planning in Kwara State. She's an industrial chemist and a certified fraud examiner.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Thank you.
We need fraud examiners today. Public financial management specialist, and you have a lot of things to share. So while we bring this segment to an end, we shall have another segment to discuss further on our issues. Thank you for coming to the studio.
It's a pleasure being here, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.